pro-mask emails been nastier than the anti-masks that I've received.
I don't write any nasty emails, but lots of them.
I think when you have a family member who's high risk, you're a lot more passionate about mask wearing.
True.
Those that don't have that. My dad has COPD, and I'm pretty passionate about people wearing masks just because I don't want to kill them.
Good. Thank you.
It is 9 a.m. I call this meeting of the Riley County Commission to order. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Hopefully everybody watched and noted that we are starting at 9 a.m. today instead of 8:30 due to Good Morning Manhattan. We'll start off with some public comments then this morning. Did you have something to start with, John?
Yes.
Okay.
John Elder, Riley County Public Works. Just want to let you know, I just found out this morning that Stockdale Park Road, waters has been closed because water's over it, about 3.5 feet deep. From Blue River Hills Road to the Stockdale Park.
Yeah, it's had water over for several days now.
I think that's perfectly fine.
I found it this past weekend.
Well, it seems a little eerily familiar from 2 years ago. Oh. Yikes.
So we don't go there.
Oh, me too. Me too. Is there any other public comment? I'm looking up top there. Any public comment from Zoom? Okay, seeing none, I'm going to go ahead and move on to commission your comments this morning, and we'll start with Commissioner McKinley.
Okay, Monday afternoon, I met with Robin Cole. She gave me a tour of all of the Pawnee mental health facilities here in Manhattan. And kind of sat down with her after she gave me going through overview of what all they do at all the different places and different roles they have and how many counties they cover. And then Wednesday, I attended the Central Juvenile Detention Board meeting. I abbreviated that for you.
I saw that. Nice. I like that.
They reviewed monthly financials and elected the executive board, which is the existing ones said they'd keep going and everybody said fine. So, and then the director, he gives us an overview of what's been going on in the facility and different things they've been doing. He also briefed us, he's got a bill that he proposed to the state that did make it out of the Senate committee. He was surprised that he made it that far. It's going to the House. It's making a minor change on some order of how judges work with SINC. It's child in need of care youth, putting no run orders on them. And it's a technicality that people are disagreeing on whether they need them or not. So he's trying to get it clarified through theirs. And that's it.
Okay. Commissioner Foki.
Okay, yeah, Monday, attended the lengthy law board meeting at City Chamber. Some of the highlights were to review the RCPD's expenditures, to review the jail average daily inmate and population numbers, monthly crime reports. They also had a promotion of one of the officers to captain, and they had a safety award to one of the police officers. There are a lot of things. Towards the end of the meeting, there was a PowerPoint presentation on outlining their budget request for 2022, which I'm sure we'll be seeing here real soon. It would be a 2.8% increase over our current budget of 21. So it's there's quite a few changes that they want to make there, including facilities. So it's something that we need to, I know we'll be dealing with. Tuesday, I continue working on developing a flyer that's going to be going out to various email recipients. As I've talked about before, I'm going to be doing a town hall type meeting upcoming, and it's actually, we decided because of COVID, it's going to be a Zoom meeting. What we're going to do is ask people to submit email questions, and then I think it's towards the end of March, we're going to gather all those questions and record the answers, and then talking to Alice and IT people, we're going to broadcast it on our YouTube channel and also it'll be on Facebook and various other places. So we'll see how it goes. I would like to eventually do it in person to my district, but at this point, we're just going to do it this way, just to be safe, and see how it goes. Yeah. I'll report on you how it goes, and you all may want to do that too at some point. It was one of my campaign promises, so that's what I'm working towards. On Wednesday, I was here in the office most of the day on Wednesday, taking calls and making calls, answering emails, and doing a lot of organization in my office. A lot of papers that had to be put away or filed, that type of thing. So anyway, so that's it for me for the week.
Okay. Well, much like Commissioner Foki, of course, I attended the March meeting of the Riley County Law Board. As she mentioned, there was a presentation on the 2022 fiscal budget. I'll work between now and the next meeting on reviewing that and coming up with my own determinations. A couple other things that occurred. A couple of new journal orders were passed. I guess that happens from time to time. That was the first for me, but again, it was still on my third meeting, so I guess that's to be understood. Word was given in a proclamation for National Public Safety Telecommunications Week. That's a long one too. And I wanted to also personally congratulate Brad Yeager. I've known the Yeagers for a long, long time, and on his promotion to captain. We didn't think of anybody for the particular position and what they're going to be doing. He'll excel in that role very, very well. So Tuesday afternoon, via Zoom, of course, did a monthly meeting of the Manhattan Area Chamber of Commerce and ex officio for them. And we got a membership account update, discussed pretty thoroughly. This was pre-city commission meeting, just so you're aware. City, county mass ordinance with an S on the end of that, tongue twister. Gave a ex officio report on behalf of Riley County, and we got some updates from chamber staff and upcoming events that'll be hosted by the organizations and moving forward. Tuesday evening, I did actually tune into the Manhattan City Commission meeting. I tuned in for a couple of reasons. That was on Facebook. I think I caught it on Facebook. Yeah, it was Facebook Live, not their TV station. Of course, I was interested to see what direction they went with the mask since we'd had our conversation on Monday. I think everybody knows they voted 4-1 to extend that to May 16th, as we're planning to do as well. The second item of interest was their discussion on the Bluemont North Manhattan Hotel commercial PUD. And just kind of watching that and seeing what they're planning, some of the things that are coming forth. This one was to allow first floor alcohol sales and an update to their signage plan, which I'll probably have to look at a little bit more in depth. Some of it didn't quite register in the moment, I guess. That amendment passed 5-0. So there was a couple, like I said, there was a couple of reasons why I watched that. Yesterday, both Rich and I were on a Zoom call. Some members of the, Aggieville Innovation District, and what that may or may not look like for several entities moving forward, including Riley County. It's still a very primitive conversation, but there's likely to be more to follow on that probably sometime moving forward. Over this last week, I've had to have some dialogue with both Stephanie Peterson at the Metropolitan Planning Organization, and I did speak with James Kelly, the district director for Senator Moran. Some possible and potential proposed changes to a new census count that'll be due in September. It could define or redefine the metropolitan statistical area and the urbanized area boundaries. If Manhattan actually drops below that 50,000 person population when those counts actually come out of because of COVID, they've been kind of pushed out. Just trying to get early indications of what that may mean to some things, including metropolitan planning. Of course, I sit on that board. I'm currently chairing that board. And there's some other things involved in that as well. But if that count drops below 50,000, I'm being told that at least direction from the Federal Highway Administration that kind of has the administrative authority over that, that it probably wouldn't be removed or need to be removed. It would be kind of grandfathered in because it's in there already. I remember there's 4 of those in the state. The Lawrence, Kansas City area, the Topeka area, and the Wichita area, but those are, as you can imagine, are well over 50,000. I see that dropping with the census, but ours may be tricky a little bit on that, and that's a development that we have vested interest in that we're going to have to watch and pay attention to as we get out of 2021 and into 2022. And lastly, via Zoom this morning, we did the Good Morning Manhattan by the Chamber. I enjoyed the 2 presentations before my own presentation. I particularly enjoyed the one on hype. I think that's something that they're doing very, very well at this point in time, and I think it's a really, really good thing moving forward. And I thought the presentation, how they kind of laid that out, continue to lay that out, was pretty good. And it's very good to see that there's still good things happening over at Manhattan Christian College at this particular point in time as well. I thought Kevin did a good job with that. And I wanted to give a shout out to Networks Plus for sponsoring this morning's event as well. And that was a mouthful. And that's all I've got at this point in time. So we can probably move on to some business.
First item I have, commissioners, need a motion to accept the low bid submitted by Highway Trash Service in the amount of $18,314.16 per year, with the option to renew the contract annually for 4 additional years.
I would move to approve.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. No, that was a bid process. I didn't know if you had any further questions or anything on it before. Okay, all those in favor then say aye. Aye.
Next, commissioners, I have Raleigh County Personnel Action Forms, Ivy Fink, Office Assistant 2 in the Attorney's Office, Separation of Service. Sean Marshall, temporary election worker, in the Elections Department, Separation of Service. Kenneth Waddick, temporary election worker, Election Department, Separation of Service. Pamela Calhoff, temporary election worker, Election Department, Separation of Service.
I was curious on one thing on the agenda here. What is the -03 after 2021
Where are we at?
on the personnel action?
-0.
Yeah, it says on each one of those 2,000.
Oh, on the form?
Yeah.
Let me think.
No. Well, it's might be on the form too.
The name of the file, the name of the file is dated 2021 March. Is that what you're thinking?
Oh, okay. 003 being March. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And then we have multiple personnel actions, so I try to keep them by dates as well as their names.
Oh, okay. Okay. That just caught my eye and I was just curious
Yeah.
about it. Okay. Good morning too, by the way. Yeah.
Ready for the minutes on the board is? Thanks, Elizabeth.
I'll be right back.
Everybody ready to go? Okay. We will start off with page 1 then. Page 2. Page 3. Page 4. Page 5. Page 6. Page 7.
Chairman, I do have something on page 7.
I do. Might do the same thing, but I do too.
Clancy will know that it is the same thing. Rich, on page 7, under number 15,
Gotcha.
right above that first voting box, there's a line beginning, move and develop in local health order number 21. The very last time indicated should be 11:59 p.m.
Gotcha.
That's all. I assume we're on the same page there, Mr. Chairman.
No, but that's a good catch too. Where was it at? I moved down and then moved past where I was wanting to be. It's in deals with how we made the motion. I'm wondering if we needed to add, gotta find it.
For the letter of support to downtown Manhattan, that one?
No,
Motion for the order.
the actual motion that we introduced on,
Let's see.
it's not, I'm not finding it again. I looked at it in advance here too. Hang on. Well, maybe, I guess it is that one. It's the same one Clancy was on, but not the
Which one
time.
says include
Yeah.
the city, yeah.
The motion was actually to either include the city of Manhattan or include the city of Manhattan with county language. I don't remember how we worded that, but there's part of that that's left out.
I need to know how you want it.
And I think we made the motion to either include the city of Manhattan or language that includes city and or county.
It does say include the city of Manhattan in it.
Yeah.
You want that changed?
Well, we need to indicate that the county language is part of that motion too. I don't know how you want to word that.
Oh, but the order itself is for the county.
Yeah, it is a county order.
Should we,
How do you suggest we do that, Clancy? He just wants it clarified that it includes the county. It is the
when
county.
we made the
It's a county
motion, we
order.
did mention that it is county, but it makes the indication that it's still county, but it doesn't actually say it.
Put county local health order.
That's all I was gonna say.
Okay, that'll work. To me, I read that and I think that we're just gonna do something for the city of
Yeah.
Manhattan. That wasn't the intent of the motion.
Clarify.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
So yeah, Clancy, we were kind of on the same page there, just for clarification. Okay, so that takes care of page 7. Then page 8. And page 9. And I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve the minutes as amended for March 15th.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Tentative agendas look, commissioners?
Good. Do we want to do our usual for intergovernmental?
Yeah, I had that on my list to ask.
Oh.
Yeah. Yep. Nope, that's fine.
Okay.
Pizza and salads, everyone participating.
Yes.
Who wants salads? You want salad, Clancy? Why eat healthy, huh? Ranch, John?
Please.
Greg,
Yes, salad, Italian.
Catherine,
Salad Italian.
I feel like I need to make like a Godfather reference or something there. I don't know.
okay. Any items for next week's press conference, commissioners?
No.
Okay. We have a little bit of a break until Clancy's time.
Okay.
Hey, putting on payroll, I'll do some weekend scouting for you. That's my neighborhood, you know.
Yeah, I saw that, I heard that.
Yeah, I was both those low places that flood were under Sunday.
I guess I've been off that anywhere around the,
Yeah, that low water's what you commonly referred to as Safari Crossing, the asphalt one there. It's coming up to that road. It's still a couple feet away from there. It floods later in the process. I don't know if they'll back it up that high or not, it's early in the season, but
it seems pretty good.
I think they're concerned with all the water they got down south instead of towards Missouri, probably is the reason why. It's the only thing I can assume because I don't think Western Kansas got that much. Yeah, but I was surprised. There was 2 nights ago, the water was coming up and there was a beaver right there at that asphalt, low water crossing. I drive by every day swimming around out there, so I pulled over and stopped and watched him. I got about maybe you know, he's a young one.
Have we heard any official rain totals yet?
I'm not good at paying that close attention to it, so.
I didn't check my rain gauge yet this morning. I don't think we got a ton yesterday, not as much as over the weekend. Over the weekend, I had an inch and a half.
It was raining pretty good mid-afternoon yesterday.
You know, I think Manhattan got
Yeah.
more of this rain than we did out in my area.
Oh, there were big fat raindrops. Just
Because I left yesterday after work about 5:30, it was pretty hard here. By the time I got to my area, it was pretty light.
Snow and sleet up on the hill.
Huh?
Snow and sleet up on the hill.
Yeah, my wife said there was sleet out at our place before I got home.
We had like a dusting at Fort Riley up on top of the hill.
Yeah, I saw pictures at Junction City from last night.
Yeah, they shut down some roads on Fort Riley because of ice. Nobody was really kind of prepared for that. I mean, it's starting to coat everything. So.
Are you up on Custer Hill? Okay. That could be fun sometimes during in the early spring and fall when it gets really windy.
Oh, yeah, we've experienced that.
Yeah.
My wife said they were supposed to have blizzard warning yesterday for garden.
Yeah,
yeah.
my buddy's out in Hayes, and he works for a company that takes them kind of all around the southwestern Nebraska, eastern Colorado, and western Kansas corridor, and they didn't work yesterday. What he said.
So the wind was sustained almost 50 is what you said.
Mhm.
That's Western Kansas, John?
Yes.
and my parents coming into town next week for the holidays, and we're gonna go hit up Dodge City and play tourist for a night or two.
Yeah, Butte Hill Museum and
Yeah.
Hotel and Casino down there. It's a fun time. Restaurant down there is awesome.
The museum or the food hill is pretty interesting. They got, right next door is they have a brewery and a distillery.
Yeah, I've done the distillery.
Nice.
I won't tell her about her history.
So my sister last night, I was talking to her on the phone, she's like, oh, there's a distillery, I was like, okay, sounds good.
Where's this at?
Dodge
Dodge
City.
City.
Oh,
So my parents are coming into town, so we're gonna go do that with the boys.
Dodge City's kind of neat.
That makes up for the fact that you're a Yankees fan a little bit.
A little bit,
A
yeah.
little bit.
Matter of fact, that distillery was producing a lot of sanitizer, you know,
Mhm,
a
they
lot of
were.
them were.
They
Some
already
of
have
them.
my sister logged on, she goes, well, they got hand sanitizer.
Yeah.
We don't need that. It's interesting, so I was talking to Justin out of House Mold Hazardous Waste, and he said they're getting a lot of hand sanitizer in now from the hospitals because it expires. And so they have a lot of unused hand sanitizer that now people are, like, hospitals are having to dispose of. So there's like a,
Guess I'll have to check ours
yeah,
that we got for elections.
I think that we looked at that because that's, I think, good for longer.
It's usually like a 3 to 5 year shelf life.
That's what I would have
I
thought.
guess the stuff they have was not, I don't know.
It's probably stuff they originally started with and then they exchange it with the plethora of new stuff
Yeah,
maybe.
the stronger stuff,
Yeah.
yeah. Cause I know they said with Corona, it had to be a certain percent
60% or higher. Well, it was 80 and then I think they dropped it to 60. But
Yeah, the stuff last week. Gotta be careful where you go.
the area. So what's this I hear about your Cornhuskers not wanting to play the Sooners?
I don't know, I'm not speak on the whole situation.
Well, neither am I. I just happened to catch a blurb and I thought,
Yeah, I've got this Bleacher Report app that kind of follows a couple teams, and I just saw the highlights, but I don't know. I was hoping we'd go in a little bit stronger with our coach, well, obviously COVID, but I was hoping that there'd be a little bit more excitement and some results.
the expectation still after all these years is maybe a little higher than can be produced. I don't
Oh,
know.
I don't know about that. I'm not sure about that.
See what I mean?
They still think it's 1995.
I know.
Well, I mean, that's why we brought Ross back.
Yeah.
I think if you're patient, you give him some time, I think he's gonna get it established.
Yeah, I mean, people have their opinions, but you know, one thing about Nebraska is they're not that patient.
Nope.
But he's a hometown boy, so it helps.
Watching him play against K-State here one year, I can't remember what year it was, it's been a while, 96, 97.
That's what it is.
They were good years for us too.
I kind of miss having Nebraska come.
That's what I'm saying, I miss that group, you know, when you're close and you compete against, you know, Kansas, Colorado, I like that.
I had a lot of fun when I went up there to watch them play in 2003.
Lesson learned.
Yeah, that was fun. Nebraska fans were really cool though
No
too.
matter what happened, I'm sure there was a sea of red there, so,
That was in Lincoln.
yeah.
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 I've been.
It used to be a sea of red here.
I know. It was that sea of red and then it was Oklahoma sea of
Yeah.
red too.
Yeah.
Nebraska, I've always been able to tolerate. Oklahoma, struggle.
Well, the old Nebraska, you just earn to, you know, they're given respect based on what they've done year in, year out. You know, the old Nebraska, I mean, they had like 10 plays and they just said stop.
Yeah,
You know,
and
they
you
didn't try to trick you.
Yeah.
We're just gonna out-muscle you. And, you know, after we got our program developed to compete with them, you realize how much, what it took to get there, you know?
We used some things that were similar
That's what I like about the old Nebraska. They used to have like 10 plays and just say, stop it, you know what we're gonna run.
Yeah, that was a different generation.
Mm-hmm.
It is 9:30. Clancy, did you have anything before executive session?
Do not.
You do not, okay. So with that said, then I'll go ahead and move that the county commission, including Chairman Ford, Commissioner McKinley, and Commissioner Foki, recess into executive session on potential litigation for purpose of consultation with Clancy Holman, Riley County Counselor, attorney for the commission, which would be deemed privileged in the attorney-client relationship, and exception to the Kansas Open Meetings Act. The open meeting to resume in the commission chamber at, looks like 9:50 a.m. Thank you, Tyler. Elizabeth Ward, Human Resource Manager, Rich Fargo, Riley County Clerk, and Barry Wilkerson, Riley County Attorney, will be present during the portion of the executive session to provide factual information. That's longer than normal.
Thank you.
Need a second on
I'll
that.
take a second.
It's been moved and
I didn't know you were
seconded.
done yet.
All those in favor, I know, I was wondering too.
Aye.
All right. Board of County Commissioners come out of executive session.
Second.
Second. Third, no.
Okay. It's been seconded and third that we move out of executive session. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I will also go ahead and move that the record reflect no binding action was taken during the executive session.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
I don't know if the third counts as extra coma, but
Aye.
Just so the commissioners know in the minutes, I don't have a third. Don't try and change that on me when we.
Oh, God.
if the Attorney General comes, I'm sending him your way.
Okay, that's fine.
That's all I have.
Okay. So we're actually past 9:50 for public hearing. I saw Bob there somewhere in the midst of the maze of people. Aha. Good, sir. How are you? All right.
He sits on the front row.
That's the hot seat.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
I can remember behind. Good morning, folks.
Morning.
Representing Peterson Ranch LLC, Lynn Blecker has made application with Riley County Planning and Development requesting to final plat a tract of land into 18 residential lots to be known as Peterson Ranch Unit 1. The subject property is located approximately 900 feet north of Tuttle Creek Boulevard at the northern terminus of Thomas Word Road, generally located north of Riley County Public Works and Adams. The subject site consists of approximately 174 acre unplatted tract. As you may recall, the applicant purchased the subject property in April 2020 with the intent of developing it into several very low density, single family residential lots. If the request is approved, the applicant intends to file restricted covenants along with the final plat of the property and form a homeowners association. On January 4th of this year, the subject property was rezoned from AG Agricultural District to RPUD Residential Plan Unit Development to accommodate the proposed residential development. There are no variances, conditional uses, or special uses associated with the property. The fire district, Riley County Fire District number 1 will serve the site. The Tuttle Creek Fire Station, which is station number 12, located at 4120 Highway 13, will serve as the primary responder to this site. Emergency turnarounds have been included approximately every 1,000 feet. One proposed lot 2 and one proposed lot 4 from the proposed extension of Thomas Word Road, which I will get to in a moment. The subject site is located within 5 road miles of the fire station. Here is the final plat. The proposed subdivision development, as mentioned, is for 18 single-family residential lots ranging in size from 5 to 14 acres, resulting in a very low-density development. Additionally, each lot will have a building envelope central to each particular lot, which functions as large building setback distances from lot lines. These building envelopes also range in size and are based on the topography of the individual lot. The applicant proposes that each lot will have direct access to a publicly dedicated street as shown here. The applicant is proposing to extend Thomas Word Road through to an unplatted tract east of the site with right-of-way reserved to connect to future development. One change from the preliminary plat was the name of the cul-de-sac extending north from that extension of Thomas Word Road. Proposed plat was vetted with the Director of Riley County Emergency Management, and he suggested should be changed from Valley View Circle to Thomas Square Circle, just to avoid confusion of names. On December 14th of last year, the Riley County Planning Board approved the preliminary plat of Peterson Ranch Unit 1, including the request to reduce the required agricultural buffer from 200 feet to 150 feet, as it was determined that all requirements of the Riley County subdivision regulations, zoning regulations, and sanitary code were met. Just to review, the Riley County Rural Fire Chief reviewed the request and stated that although there is rural water that will serve the site, fire hydrants cannot be placed on their lines and will not be available. He strongly recommended that since Thomas Word Road will be terminating in a cul-de-sac and not be a through road and will be over 500 feet in length, the development should include turnarounds as part of the extension of Thomas Word Road approximately every 1,000 feet to allow fire trucks the ability to maneuver in and out of the area to retrieve and deliver water. And as I mentioned, there are a couple locations, as you can see here, and the cul-de-sacs that you see here will also serve as a turnaround. Okay. Move on from there. Okay, so as a part of the final plat, the existing 6-inch water line transecting lots 14 through 18 will be abandoned and the easement vacated as part of this plat, in favor of relocation of that line along Thomas Weird Road. It is proposed that a 2 or 4-inch line, I believe it's a 4-inch line, will serve the lots along the northern cul-de-sac there. On March 8th, the Riley County Planning Board approved the final plat of Peterson Ranch Unit 1, as it was determined that all requirements of the Riley County subdivision regulations, zoning regulations, and sanitary code were met. Staff recommends the Board of County Commissioners acknowledge the final plat of Peterson Ranch Unit 1 and accept any easements, rights of way, or licenses as shown to be dedicated on the final plat. That's all I have. Fairly straightforward. Have any questions for me? Feedback, field those.
Yeah, I have, the question I had when I read through this was the fire hydrant. And if that would be sufficient to, carry the water at that distance if there are several houses or a wildfire going on, and I was concerned about that.
Okay, that was vetted with the Director of Emergency Management at the time at the preliminary plat stage. And the recommendations in just about anywhere in the county, you're not going to get fire hydrants.
Okay.
That's out. No matter if you're right up against the rural water tower. They said they flat out are not in the business of firefighting. So if there's any development whatsoever, whether it be one house or 100, you're not going to get that.
So the water for putting out fires is not from the rural water department?
No, it's not on a hydrant.
On a hydrant? But
Yeah, they won't have a hydrant. What they will have is, if fortunate, and in this particular case, there's a couple of what they call cleanouts along the line. And they also call them fill points for rural water, rural fire departments. And rural fire departments are allowed to access those to fill up their trucks. Is that the same as a fire hydrant down in the city? No. But it does supplement the firefighting capability. So what the new fire chief was stating that it's not recommended. It's never recommended. Development out in the county would not exist if it was strictly based on the ability to have a fire hydrant nearby. It just wouldn't happen. Something else I want to take a close look at is on this. This is the tract itself, and we're talking 18 lots of 175 acres. These houses are going to be quite a ways away from each other. It's not going to look like University Park where there's a house. And it's hard to see that as far as scale in this. It looks like a small tract and there's going to be a number of lots in it. So that's not going to be the case. The other thing too to remember is there's going to be a homeowners association. There's going to be restricted covenants. This is also zoned our PUD. In the PUD, the development plan lays out the wildlife or wildfire interface. So in other words, there's going to be yards, and they're going to be keeping down the cedar population and things, and trying to keep something like that from happening. So there's also going to be scheduled burns involved. And at first, when I heard that, I thought that was going to be like, what, really, with all the houses there, you know? And it turns out that's the better way to do it. It's controlled. That when it's, you know, very, very dry out, and there's a lot of tall grass, and then something happens, a lightning strike or a cigarette butt, something that starts a wildfire. So I think that there's going to be quite a bit that is going to play into the trying to keep the fires from happening to begin with, at least on this property. So.
A couple of things too, Bob. Topography there kind of runs top downward, doesn't it? I mean, there's a little bit of a wind berm in the event that you did have a small fire. It wouldn't.
Yeah, all these are very deep ravines, and so you got a bit of a ridge. That's where you'll see, you know, you kind of almost see where people have been driving up here.
I've driven past it, but haven't looked, you know, on site. But that's what it appears like to me.
Yep.
And the second thing there, I'm not for sure what an agreement is or what not, but just south of there is the public works shop.
Yes.
There's water available there as a secondary if needed too. Would that be correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay.
As well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Again, I'm not sure what I can add to that. There's going to be again, if you have one or two houses, you're going to be facing the same situation, so it's a numbers thing. But really, I think that with this type of development, there's quite a bit that has been put into the final development plan, and quite a bit more that will be put into the restricted covenants to try to control things that would lend itself to being a little reckless when it comes to that. They understand where the development is not going to have fire protection like the city. So they're going to have to take other measures into account and try to implement those to try to make sure that it's a safe development.
Rural Fire has that
And it
figured out.
affects their insurance rating too.
Absolutely.
But at least having fill stations within the area helps, because other parts of, not in subdivisions, other parts, they don't have them, because I know they have to come in, you know, some of them, they have to drive 5 miles into Riley or Leonardville to fill their tank. And when there's been big fires, there's been a continuous string of people coming in and out of Riley, filling those tanks.
And that's
having one there. I mean, that's a big,
absolutely. Plus, the turnarounds for that purpose, be able to, they don't have to back the truck up half a mile to get out.
Yeah, there was one just west of Riley last year, the year before, that they couldn't get. It was a small, narrow path into the house, and they couldn't get backed out, and and then they're having to run into Riley to get water and stuff.
Something else too is going to be access. This portion of Thomas Ward Road right here, this is offsite, is going to be required to be paved. So within 1 year of the filing of the final plat, that has to be, it's the filing, not the approval, but that's one thing. And the roads going through there are going to be built to county standard.
Yeah.
It's not going to be, we're going to file the plat and hope that they get that taken care of. And there's lots of residential platted subdivisions along the lake. That's exactly that. The roads never got built,
Right.
but the plats got filed and lots got sold off. And that's not how we do business now. And so that's going to be also, it's going to be built to county standard. And so with that too, if let's say the applicant wishes to come over here and develop this as a unit 2, for example, and use this as a connection, all of this would have to be paved as well.
That's what that's what I had in here. That was one of my questions. Said something about the streets being 8 inches 83, which I mean that's a substantial. A lot of places it's 4. I mean, a little bit of gravel. So it is. But I thought there was something about it had to be paved eventually. Is that not in?
Well,
Yes.
the requirement is only for this. This has to be, all of this has to be built to gravel standard. And to be, at least for the plat to be filed. After that, again, if you wanted to do something over here, it would require this to be paved for sure. If, I believe it is with, in the intent of the applicant, and slash developer, to form a pavement district when the time comes. And we would like to do that sooner than later.
Well, that's, I thought there was that was part of the deal, because right now, I thought subdivisions had to be paved, but,
No, the subdivision have to connect to a paved road.
oh, okay.
And I'll trick you there.
Yeah, okay. But
When we
I
get
know
to the final plat on here, that's what will happen.
he had talked about eventually paving it when, but wanted until, a certain percentage of the road or the lots are
Yeah,
developed.
It gets a little help.
Because that's, I mean, that's a big expense to get started.
Yes,
right
that's
off the
massive.
bat. But that is going to be part of this, what, the homeowners association or something like that?
Well, no, it'll be separate from that. It would be more of a paving district. You can fold that all into it, but really that's what he's forming, a paving district.
But it isn't required, but it would be if he went to the next section.
Yeah, and that's done through, statutes, and I believe the Craig sets that up.
Okay.
It's like, oh, so
Oh,
that's what it is right now.
Yeah.
Are there any other questions on this?
Well, on the same line, it looks like lot number 10, 9, 7 are quite a ways from the paved area. So what are the requirements for getting into those homes as far as their driveways? Is there
Okay.
anything?
Yeah, well, okay, that's a good question.
Okay.
All the lots must abut and have direct access to a paved road or a paved road, public road. So it's kind of hard to see that all the lots actually have access to, they abut and have access to a public road that will be constructed and accepted and approved and by the Public Works, built to county standard. The driveways themselves at this time do not have driveway standards. But those are being worked on as we speak. And we're hoping to get those adopted alongside the new land development regulations.
Yeah, I was just concerned about a fire truck getting into some of those lots.
And you would have the same on one lot subdivision,
Well, yeah.
the same concern. But again, hopefully, again, I believe with the restrictive covenants, they're going to cover that too.
Cover that.
Again, those are privately enforced, and I understand that.
Any other questions? If not, we need a motion to approve or not approve.
I motion to approve resolution 31-821, acknowledging the approval, final plat of Peterson Ranch Edition, Unit 1, accepting easements, right-of-ways, or licenses as shown to be dedicated on the final plat.
Second.
Okay, that's been moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Resolution signed, commissioners.
And we
All
covered the
three, please.
Mylars as well.
Yeah, we have one Mylar here. We get started. Appreciate that.
Okay.
One, two, this one.
Morning.
Morning, everybody. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, sir.
Okay, we're running a little bit behind, but if you're ready to go, Dave.
Hi, my name is David Willis, Riley County Parks. I'm here to present the agenda report in regards to Seco Park. I'll just give you a brief background of kind of what's gone on there in the past from the best of my recollection and research. But it looks like that the park, ever since its conception back in the early 60s, and soon after the construction of the stadium and track area at the park, that there's been some type of mutual use with county property in regards to some of the events that they did with the track and field. So I couldn't confirm that. We don't have any MOUs that I could find in regards to that. But that's the best I could find. I thought I'd let Jack come up and talk about what the school districts want to do. But briefly, we have a field, if you've been to the carnival, where those events take place for discus, javelin, shot put, and there's some other people that practice some of those events out there as well. But basically, we have 2 concrete pads out there right now that I assume the district put in years ago. And they're wanting to add 2 additional pads. And so I'll let Jack come up and talk about that, and then I'll finish up the report.
Morning.
Morning.
Mr. Marsh, our athletic director, came to me a couple months ago with the issue, the high school with all of our lawn construction going on, they've lost their practice area for the throwing events for track. Since we already used the field before for actual track meets, we thought it'd be good, since we keep all the kids together at the stadium, to add 2 pads there on the north end. Talking with Mr. Willis and Mr. Fife and everyone about this, but found out there was no MOUs, no agreements officially, so we started working towards that. At this point, this late in the season, I don't know if we'd actually get the pads put in this spring. It might work with Mr. Fife, Mr. Willis about maybe doing it next fall, so we'll be ready for the next season. I don't know, do you have any other questions?
No, interesting thing for me is I did get a call. It's been 3 weeks or so now from a parent, somebody on the track team, and because of COVID last year, they lost their entire season because of obviously things that are going on in Potroff Hall and other items in and around the area. There's no place for them to practice at. And she was very nice and cordial about things, but didn't really want to see her kids lose out for a second straight year. So anything we can do to combine those efforts to make that happen, I'm okay with. So that'd be fine with me.
I just wanted to make sure to thank Mr. Willis and Mr. Holman and Mr. Fife for all the cooperation and guidance they given me to help get through this.
Good.
Just want to continue to have a good relationship with the county.
Yeah.
Keep the kids doing what they do.
It's why it's Seco Park, right? City, county.
Yeah. And school district.
And a school, no, I count that as part of the city anyway. So you're all good there. So yeah.
All right.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
So as Jack was saying there, they currently have a place to practice. It's just I think, from my best understanding, they want more areas to practice, so they're not wearing out that playing field.
I think hers was having the right distance to practice for throwing. So javelin.
Yeah,
all the
I would
others.
assume that's not affected at all. It's just more of a practice area added. Am I right, gentlemen?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's pretty much it. So in looking at that, there was no MOU, so Clancy was kind enough to fashion that and check with insurance regarding that, that were on their policy. I'm not going to read all that verbatim, but basically just says that we weren't on their policy and that we had to take some steps in order to get on their policy. So if someone's injured, the county is covered in regards to that. So there's some hoops to jump through. So in the MOU, it has to say it's being rented or something like that in order to be covered by their insurance. And so at the end of the season, this MOU or contract, if you will run out, and it'll probably have to be, because I believe my understanding was their liability insurance ran out. So once they get a new liability insurance, this may be something we might have to go through on an annual basis or however often they redo their insurance or just whatever. Maybe we'll still have an MOU, but some other document that covers the insurance part of it. But regardless, it'll run out. We'll have to refashion something where we have a little bit more time to put some time into that. Let's see, was there anything else? I think I pretty much covered everything. Gary, did you want to add anything?
The only thing that I would like to add is I've appreciated Jack's cooperation and David's and Clancy's, especially for writing up the MOU. But we've had, when this thing brought up and they were wanting to pour these new pads out there, my only question was at the time was, this is county property, so is there an MOU? And I guess I created a problem.
How do you do that, Gary?
I don't know. It's just in my nature. But I think David's recommendation that we get this signed and then do an annual signing to make sure, because there was nothing anywhere on file. And so somebody gets stabbed by a javelin who's liable, somebody gets hit in the head with a shot put, and sure enough, it would happen sooner or later. So I just thought it was important to bring it up. Well, it turned out to be quite an ordeal before we got this, but I think now we've come to a place where we're all comfortable with what we can do. So surely want the school to use it. They've been using it. I understand they've been using it for years, but we need to have something in writing to make sure it's right. That's all.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have no questions and no issues with it at this point in time. So
Sounds like cleaning up something that's been hanging out there for 50 years, whatever.
Okay, well, I can accept a motion on that.
I'd move to approve the use of the field and the construction of 2 concrete practice areas at the district's expense.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Thank you, Dave. Thank you, everybody.
They're on the back side, that's what's turned that way.
Okay. Thanks, sir. Okay. Okay, we're ready, Gary. Yeah.
Bring Brandy. Brandy's going to be your program for extension. She's going to talk about bread in a bag, but I think that's here. And Brandy's our 4-H program assistant, and she does a whale of the job in our schools with our school enrichment program. So she volunteered. She wants to talk about her bread in a bag program. So I'm going to turn the program over to her and let her tell you about it. I think she brought some treats for the commissioners. Did you bring an extra one along, Rich?
I did.
Oh, you did?
I
Okay.
did. Bridget didn't want you to fill it out.
Yeah.
So Dawn, I'll just leave you, there's bread in there, and then there's our program brochure,
Okay.
so. we'll leave that.
Now, Rich isn't getting that, by the way.
Kind of take it for you.
Thank you, Brandy. I appreciate that.
So I just wanted really brief, so our school enrichment program, or programs that we offer to teachers in Riley County, so Manhattan, Thornton Hills Christian, Manhattan Catholic, Riley County. And they are primarily science-based, K-6. So bread in a bag, which is interesting, doing via Zoom with COVID. We make it work. Anyway, it's something else. We are, if you wanna stop by the office in about a month, we're gonna hatch chicks. And I always, have an incubator in the office with some backup eggs in case a teacher has a disaster. So we have something, and then, you know, if there's no disasters, then we hatch them in the office. So, stop by, Ant Farms, hopefully next week, have some teachers gonna start doing frogs in their classroom. So it's just all kinds of fun. So you never know, what we've got going. Do you guys have any questions?
No, look forward to bread.
Okay. All right, thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, Ms. Director Butler, we're a few minutes behind this morning, but.
Worries on time with me. Morning, everyone. It's good to see you.
Morning.
Start out with last weekend's early St. Patrick's Day celebration. It wasn't fake Patty's Day, but it seemed like it was just in different spots for us. Yeah, it was a busy day. We had extra staff that we had planned to have on duty anyway. And we only ran into one issue really that was significant. It was over in the 1000 block of Raton, just east of the college campus. There was quite a large house party that turned into a street party that turned into a block party with hundreds and hundreds of people. And we came upon it, and the crowd wasn't happy about us being there. And so we ended up requesting some assistance from other agencies in Potawatomi County, Wamego, and Highway Patrol, who happened to be in town conducting DUI patrols that day, which is one of the routines around St. Patrick's Day. As a result of all of that, there were a total of 5 citations, alcohol-related citations issued. There were 3 DUI arrests by the KHP, 3 DUI arrests by RCPD, and 1 disorderly arrest. In the overall scheme of things, for a day like this, it really wasn't that eventful in terms of unrest or disorderly conduct or damage to property, anything like that. The rain definitely helped us later in the day. We anticipated this going on well into the night, but the heavy rain kind of shut that down early. We were happy to see it. Any questions about that day? Anything you may have heard that I didn't address?
And we'll just see if that affects any positivity rates, infection rates. Just have to keep our fingers crossed.
Yeah, I've heard similar comments, so we'll see what happens with that. Speaking of which, we haven't had any employees test positive. I think we're going on our 3rd week now.
Good.
So that's a good sign for us, at least. As you probably heard, I have to stop and acknowledge something. 2 of the county commissioners are now on the law board, and I always apologize when I repeat things. But always keep in mind there's other people listening to this meeting that may not have listened to the law board.
Well, we also have a 3rd one that's not. So.
Well, he hears things when I go up to Riley.
Yes, I hear
So I am cognizant of the fact that I repeat things at different meetings, and I apologize if I'm boring you, but I want to make sure as many people as possible hear some of this. But the COVID cases, like I said, have gone very well for us. We're also starting to resume some of our optional services at the police department. If you look on our social media, there's information there about our child safety seat inspections. We're doing those by appointment only right now. Inmate visitations have resumed. Volunteers are coming back into the jail to assist with programs there.
We're kind of used to those noises, aren't you?
Oh, I am.
Yeah.
Just want to make sure everybody can hear me. So again, things are starting to resume the way we would like them to. We're not entirely back where we'd like to be. We're not doing ride-alongs again yet. We think it's premature for that. I've had a few requests for ride-alongs. But at some point, we'll get there. Also, you've heard me mention this month is the 30th anniversary of the department being accredited. We had planned some public recognition of that this month, but we weren't able to do it because of some of the folks we want to invite from the Commission on Accreditation for Law Enforcement Agencies. So we're looking at doing something the first week in May at this point. Again, we don't have a date established yet, but once we do, we'll send that out to the community. We want to invite the community to attend this. The main reason is, again, as often as you hear me talk about it, the vast majority of our citizens still don't know that we're accredited. They don't understand what it means and why we do it. And I like to take every opportunity to explain that to as many people that will listen. Also, currently, we're under our annual accreditation review. What that entails is we have an assessor who accesses our policies, our standards, and our proofs online. And there's over 100, and they're doing a remote review of those policies. Almost all of it involves use of force. Not surprising based on what's happened in the last year. Some of these policies are brand new because when Accreditation came out with their new manual, the 6th edition last year, we had a year to implement some of those new standards, and some of it required new policies. So we're just finishing those up for this review. Some of those will be coming to the law board soon for approval. Normally, we have already done that, but we had a deadline with our annual review, so we just had to publish these so they could review them. In addition to that, there's several tiers to this review. Our regional program manager gets a summary or an annual report of activities over the last year that are related to the policies, but other things as well. And he wrote back to our accreditation manager, and this is all credit to the staff really, that it was one of the best annual reports he'd ever read about some of the things we've been doing here over the last year in response to recent events. So I was very excited to get that kind of feedback. We promoted a lieutenant to the rank of captain. Lieutenant Brad Yeager was promoted to the rank of captain. He's now in charge of the support division, which was previously led by Captain Friedline, who's now in charge of the investigations division. On Monday, our 2022 budget proposal was presented to members of the law board. If the entire proposal were approved, it would represent a 2.55% increase over this year's approved budget. Dispatch, we're still maintaining most of the gains we've achieved there over the last year and a half or so. We have 2 vacancies currently. First year I was here, for years we've been averaging 5, 6, 7 vacancies, so we've been able to maintain that. It's going very well. Unfortunately, our corrections division is now distressed from staffing shortages, so we're working really hard to try to fill those vacancies in corrections. It kind of looks like what was happening in dispatch, but I'm confident that we'll be successful in getting those positions filled as soon as possible. The only other thing I'll mention, I don't want to get into details about it, is I've been in touch with, well, actually they contacted us, the company that has been awarded the contract to provide exterior security at MBAF. So they've been in contact with us to talk about collaboration and putting things in place so we can work well together when the facility opens, even before that, but continuing on. So we're in the early stages of that. I think it'll go very well. I wanted to give you an update on that. I don't have any other information to share. Do you have any questions for me?
I do need to maybe try to chat with you just for a minute on a separate item.
Sure.
Anybody else?
No, that's you talked about ride-alongs. I'd requested one last year, 1st of March, with Sergeant Forwood.
Sergeant Weisbrod.
Yeah, Sergeant Weisbrod.
Yes.
And he said, "Oh, we'll schedule that in a couple of weeks." I said, "Okay," and then didn't happen. He said, "Nope."
For what it's worth, we haven't resumed them for anybody, and once we do, we will let you know, and we'll get you on the schedule.
Yeah, I understood. You know, we both talked about, "Oh, yeah, that'd be great. We'll do that sometime." And then a week or 2 later, we went, "Well, I guess we're not going to be doing that, are we?"
Right. Yeah. Hopefully, it'll be by summer. I hope.
Yeah. Because I was just interested in one, particularly North County.
Yeah, just keep reminding me and we'll get you on the schedule. Any other questions? All right, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm gonna chat with him for just a second, then it'll be your turn. We're at 10:30.
We're a minute ahead of you. You've got a minute.
Maybe 30 seconds now.
Oh, yeah, no, I just did. I just flipped, didn't it?
Nobody's here from Harbor Hills. That's too bad.
No, well, that and just basically what person needs in that particular square footage. Okay.
Yes, in the middle of it.
Yes, I hold up my previous conversation, and I have a floor plan for that, but I
Don't know if I made enough, but you guys will have one for sure.
Thank you.
I'll give this to Alice.
Gary.
No, you just said.
Okay.
Conversation thoroughly, so we all know what exactly. Thank you, Dennis. Okay, sorry about that, John. Go ahead.
Actually, the other place, they always took a break right before I came on.
Well, after this, we may need to take a break afterwards. We may have to change protocol. I don't know.
That'd be fine after, they all interrupted mine before, but, John Ellerman, Public Works Director. This is a response to a letter that we all received, a couple times in the last 6 months. So county route, as I mentioned, at 402 is West 59th Avenue. It's up here by our Public Works office, but Tuttle Creek Boulevard. It serves the Harbor Hills and Lakeland Mill Cove areas. There are a couple subdivisions up there. The road from Tuttle Creek Boulevard is paved to Mill Cove Road. It's about 2 miles long. The stretch of road between Mill Cove Drive and Harbor Hills is what's is the concern in the petition and letter. The surface with approximately, and I think I'm being generous, 2 to 4 inches of millings was placed on there. And then after that is ground for about a quarter mile into what the yacht club was thought into, and Tuttle Creek Reservoir, the federal ground. 25th, we received this most recent letter from the homeowners of Harbor Hills requesting an upgraded portion of West 59th Avenue for approximately about 3,000 feet between Mill Cove Drive and Harbor Hills Drive. Over the years, this part of West Virginia had not been considered by Public Works as a paved road. We've gone in and patched it a few times, but nothing any more than filling in holes. Now it's rough, cracked, number of potholes, and I've included some pictures in your package of that. Yes. Some of the pictures of the road going into in the area that Ed questioned. So I just wanted to bring this to you to give us, just make sure I'm not doing something or should be doing something that I'm not. And I gave you a list of options that we consider to be reasonable or what needs to happen to make anything better, I guess.
I assume number 3 is 4-inch rock, so it's not 4-foot rock.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry.
I was
Yes,
wondering
4
that
inches.
too.
Probably gonna have to increase your cost there.
Yeah, that's the wrong price for that.
By about 4 feet.
Then we might as well pave it, I think.
It's
So-
safer.
Yeah.
Technically, this road has failed as an asphalt paved road. With the cracking, there's no base left in it. There's nothing holding the pavement together. To prepare the base, we consider just milling that up, mixing it with some of the dirt underneath, relaying it, and any of the options we do that are mentioned on here would be, we would do that same thing. Whether we add gravel to it or put asphalt seal coats or asphalt pavement. So, the letter mentioned something about being cheaper to pave it or to seal it. The cheapest cost on here is the putting in on the gravel. There's a double seal coat is not too much above that. However, long-term maintenance of those are to maintain a gravel road is about 1,200 miles a year, or dollars per mile per year, where compared to 3,500 to seal. Even though it would get sealed every year, a seal coat was about $19,000-$20,000, and so over a 6-year period, it's about $3,500 a year to maintain. I think last time it was asked how many people, I included the petition in your packet. I counted up 22 petitioner signers and 15 homes. I think there's about 25 homes off of Harbor Hills and Mill Cove Drive back in there. I need to go up to the northern subdivision. And 2 residents live right at the end on the gravel portion. Is there access to? So I didn't get too far into how to pay for it. It's not been something that was planned in our budget to do. So, we're at least 50,000 short of where to pay for it. Nothing in CIP was planned, and there's always the option of benefit district, but with nobody adjacent to the road, I don't know who pays for it. So, I think asphalt season is coming up. We're getting ready to preparing our stuff to seal. So if we were West 59th is on our list to seal. If we were gonna do that, then now would be the time to do it.
But you're not recommending that now at this time with.
I would not recommend that
Okay.
at any time right now. With what we got here, I would not recommend.
So I wonder why it's, on the list.
Well, the pay portion is on.
Okay. I'm sorry.
This
Okay,
3,000
gotcha,
is not.
gotcha.
So John, doing this, you'd be adding road mileage to what you guys typically report, Gary, to the commissioners, paved road miles that we have to pave then on a regular basis and maintain.
Yeah, we would
And
have.
so that would be additional budget for the county. This year, you're either taking away from a project or you'll find the resources somewhere within this year's budget, but ongoing, it's an additional added cost that we don't have right now.
Yes, that's not correct.
Just
And
want
how
the
many-
just want the new commissioners to
I
understand.
didn't
that.
see it on here, or maybe I missed it. How many miles is this?
It's a few thousand feet, so it's a little over about a half a mile.
Okay.
Chip seal, how many of our paved roads are chip sealed? You said every year you reseal all of them? Or?
Not all of them. We do about 10 miles.
Yeah, 8 to 10 miles, isn't it?
One chip seal a year.
Every 3 or 4 years, probably.
We have 6.
Or 6. Okay.
250 miles of pavement. Thereabouts. And so, yeah, our sealing we chip seal about every 6 years, pave every 12, so it's a chip seal, pavement, chip seal.
Over a 6-year period, we can chip seal all of our paved roads.
Is that out of sales tax currently?
Parts of the park,
Parts of it.
not
That's what I
generally.
thought.
Part of it's budgeted, and then, what is it, 250,000, 275,000?
Yeah.
A year, trips out of sales tax for that.
Which after next year doesn't exist. So just something to think about.
Well, and that road was underwater for quite some time. I don't know how many months back in 18 when we had the flood. And so I'm sure it's in much worse condition now than it would have been over a normal period of time. But I'm wondering if the rock surface, if we get another flood like that, is that going to hold up in any better than, say, chip seal?
The rock surface would be easier to bring back to standard than putting in the asphalt, and much cheaper than pavement. Yet water on top of a road and underneath pavement is never good.
But it would be easier than if you had a rock front base and a rock surface for that.
Yes. You were getting ready to say something.
I just wanted to add, this section of road was never intended to be hard surface. In my mind, and this was done, I believe, probably back in the late 90s before I got here, but I'm going to guess that the money was put down in an effort to do some sort of dust control. I know that Grant Township, where this road is located, the township officials have done the same thing to a number of their roads, just put down the millings as a dust control. And as it turns out, they ended up the same way. Over a period of time, traffic, the heat from the summer, it all kind of melded together, and those people out there think they have hard surface roads, but this is what they really have.
Yeah.
And they have a devil of a time trying to maintain it.
And maybe you said that, but it originated as asphalt millings, correct?
Correct.
Not an asphalt road.
Correct.
Not an asphalt road, it was
millings.
just put down as asphalt millings as a type of aggregate that at one point they thought it held the dust out there, so.
But this, but the county, it's a county road all the way down to the end, right? But the ones in Harbor Hills, those are townships. Correct?
Right, and the township will maintain that quarter mile at the end that we have for us. They'll grade it when they're on the neighborhood.
That's the part that goes to the yacht club.
Yeah.
Yes.
Car back up here. Okay. So
I
what's
think
it?
it needs to be done. I'm just not for sure how we're gonna pay for it.
We have some CIP money at this point in time. Or
Yeah,
not?
I wouldn't really recommend taking away from other projects in CIP for a specific areas road thing that isn't even on the non-funded list, and we have so many other things we can't fund.
Very
That
true.
are general purpose to serve everyone.
Um,
I would recommend if you guys agree, any expenditure comes out of public works.
And putting,
do you need some time to evaluate the finance for that? 'Cause it's, I mean, you've listed pricing here, but do you need to go back through and evaluate that?
We evaluate some, I think we could probably absorb the rental, the equipment and the labor that we have. It may take us away from something else right away, but as far as that goes, it's the material, the aggregate that's gonna stretch us a little bit more than what we're probably used to.
What are you looking at a time frame? Because it does seem like to me with the spring and the wet and dry and freeze that this would be more of a early summer project probably at the earliest. I mean, time frame wise, or am I wrong on that?
I think we're getting close to being able to come in and do that, where the freeze is not gonna be affect us
It's
as
not gonna
much
go
the
down
next
as
few
far.
weeks.
Okay.
And Gary can probably address this, but the commissioner should know asphalt millings being placed on either county or township road is not isolated to this area. And every place that is put asphalt millings on has this exact same problem.
This is the, really, to the best of my knowledge, this is the only place we've got. The
On a county road.
asphalt building. And I don't know of any other road that we've got that is just strictly chip and seal on a base. You know, all our other chip and seals are on top of asphalt.
The chips
And
are
they're actually used to further the life of the asphalt.
yeah, just to seal it, to keep the water out a little better. Yeah, I know, so on the other one, on that, whatever that was, Peterson, they talked about 8 inches. But you're assuming what's there, there's some gravel there, and some millings, just use that as the base.
The
And
millings
then-
mixed in will make that a pretty decent base and
Yeah.
set up pretty good.
And I think, and I know, times when people think of a gravel road, they think of some of the off-road paths, but I mean, I've gone around some of the roads in, because people have asked me about some of the stuff in North County, and our gravel roads are in good shape. I mean, they're not some of the other ones, what I've seen, that when we have a gravel road, it's kept up. It's not a problem like some of the other ones. But I mean, I'm not blaming the township for doing, they're doing what they can. But the county gravel roads that I've seen have been a solid road. That's good to drive on. So,
With one, I agree. The Peterson thing, the 8 inches was put in there, one to help with the base. We would want that 4 inches or so in base, and then another 4 was the temporary or the surfacing until we
To get it ready
come
for
around to go
asphalt.
pave. So they should almost be ready to go when it comes time for pave.
Because that, and I guess that's the one you recommended too. That did make sense because just a chip seal on gravel doesn't do much, doesn't last much.
I guess my question would be, do you still need some time to maybe evaluate all these within the public works budget, and would that change the recommendation at this time?
No.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not sure they're wanting an answer. I was, I guess, wanting to get the answer whether we wanted to, if we're gonna seal it, I needed to shift some things around to get that done while we were doing the northern part of the road and get it all done now instead of bringing somebody back in months later or next year.
Sure.
And put it on that same cycle. So,
Yeah, but Gary, you said you think this is the only place we've really got that milling situation.
As far as I know, that's the only place.
Because if we do this, then are there going to be 20 other places coming up saying, oh, well, you did that, can you go ahead and do our mile of road here or something?
I'm not aware of any place else in the county has millings down on the road.
Okay.
Now, there are townships out there.
Yeah, I know, and that's not our.
No, but you'll hear about it.
Yeah, no.
Then we'll refer them back to the township, and then they can.
Like I said, I've had some conversations even during the campaign about, and I explained the difference between county and township roads, but.
you still have the opportunity to table it for a while or just so that we're gonna do nothing. Or,
It feels like to me we're gonna have to go rock at some point in time anyway. It's just a matter of can you fit that into what you need to do? I guess that's my question.
I think I don't know if I'm that comfortable saying, yes, we could fit it in.
Okay.
Without maybe speaking with Alan some more.
I say give us a week, let's go back and take a look at our budget numbers too, to see where we're at with some of these things.
And I think that was my train of thought of thinking to make sure that we can
make sure you've got a way to pay for it.
Take away from something else that's necessary at this point.
The way it did not our asphalt program, we're not really sure how that's going to impact us.
No.
John or Gary, would the residents prefer that it stay that it is or go to rock, would be my question. I think they would. I don't know, it's intended to be a rock road like mine is, and so I think they may think about their petition differently if you decide to go to rock.
Based on my experience, of course, I've worked 3 other counties, so.
Yes.
You know, you'll get complaints about how bad that asphalt road is and just day in, day out, but once you grind it up, turn it back to rock, there was nothing wrong with that whole road.
I'm looking at a couple of things here other than complaints, and that is what's going to be the most solid thing here and what's going to work from a budgetary perspective, both this year and following. That's I got to think about everybody in mind, and that's everybody's tax dollars in mind. So not just 25 people in one area. So to me, that seems to be the most sensible approach. But that sounds like to me we need to make sure that that's the sensible approach, particularly from a budgetary standpoint. So we may need to just table this for the moment and come back to it when everybody's feeling comfortable and everybody has a path.
Good, I agree. I think, like I say, the rock surface seems to be the best option, but just make sure we can pay for it. So
I think probably we need to make a motion to table and get further consideration from Public Works.
If you'd like to table it, you can.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and make that motion since I mentioned it. So I need a second.
I'll second.
Okay. Or third, if you want to put that one in there, Rich.
I'll give Catherine the second. If you want so bad.
Okay. Fair enough. Long as it's noted, it's been moved and seconded that we table this item for some further recommendations from staff. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, gentlemen. Look forward to hearing back from you later. And that brings us to, 10:52, a little late, Amanda, but
All right.
bid opening for a 1/2-ton pickup truck. Do we have
Sorry,
bids?
had to get that in there. Changed on me.
Oh, okay. We do have bids.
No, we have a bid.
A bid.
Yeah.
Singular. Non-competitive bid. Right. Good.
Okay, so 1/2-ton 4x4 pickup truck for planning department. One single bid. It's from Shawnee Mission Ford, Shawnee, Kansas, not Shawnee Mission, Kansas. There's a difference. I know, right? Somebody try to chew on this?
No, unfortunately, it went to another office who didn't read that it was a bid and they pre-opened it.
Oh, so they already know.
Unfortunately, maybe.
Okay. Single bids for 2021 Ford F-150 extended cab 4x4. I have $28,933. 28.
That's it from Shawnee Mission Ford. 2021 Ford F-150, $28,933.
So I guess my question on this particular bid, since there's only a single bid, obviously we're not going to send it back to staff for recommendation. So what would be the proper protocol? Accepted or?
I'd stay with standard protocol.
Okay.
Staff review it to make sure it's got all the options that they want, because it may not, and so.
Okay.
They may say, hey.
We'll make sure it's within the budget. Oh, yeah, it's 35.
I think it was under, that's a little bit under the budget you initially, yeah, okay.
right.
And then, Terry Piper, our environmental health specialist, is here with us. If you folks have any questions, he's the one who's gonna be using the vehicle, so if you have any questions, he's here with us.
Need a motion, commissioners.
Move, what is it? Wording for it. Move the bids be given to the staff for their review and recommendation.
Second that.
Okay. Been moved and seconded to send this bid recommendation back to staff for further review. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Next, commissioners, you have Steve Higgins. We actually got back on schedule, so at 11 o'clock, Steve.
Commissioners, thank you all, Raleigh County Council. I'm going to take advantage of the fact that we're back on schedule and ask for a motion from the board to put in a continuation basically of the previous executive session as soon as the REACH committee presentation is over.
Make that motion.
Okay. Need a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to add an executive session to the last agenda item. All those in favor? Aye.
Thank you.
Well, how are you?
Oh, pretty good. You?
Oh, we're doing good.
Yeah.
How are we?
Hello, how are you doing?
Till 11, is that right?
Yeah.
We have 5 minutes.
Yep, you do.
Okay.
How are you?
Okay.
Hello, Rick.
Hi there, how are you guys?
Good, how are you?
Good. Yeah, no, that's fine. I wanted to get a couple pictures. See if there's any new information I can learn to put in the newsletter. I got a cute picture yesterday from Elizabeth, and you guys did the leprechaun, that was pretty cute, yeah. Uh-huh, yes. Oh, okay, okay. Okay, no, I got it all through. Yeah.
It needs to be in on the front.
Yeah.
How's Lori? Good. Warming up out yet? Nope.
You don't need them. Till it's 80, it's not.
True, it's asking the wrong person.
Maybe I can say good morning to the other Lori.
Good morning, how are you?
We're doing good, how about you? Good.
A lot of paperwork today.
Yeah, set them up here.
Okay. Okay, it is 11 a.m. We got Steve with the history of the REACH committee.
Good morning, commissioners.
Good morning.
I'm actually privileged to be here representing the REACH committee. As you can see, it has been established since 1999. And the Raleigh County REACH committee was formed in 1999 at the request of the Board of County Commissioners. Alan Ladd, who was with Kansas State University, the extension director at the time, formed that original meeting. Okay, and that happened, February 18th, 1999. All right. Now, notice it was in your handout there. Originally, it was called the Esprit de Corps Committee. All right. The Esprit de Corps Committee. Well, I don't know. That name, I guess, didn't fit us, so we had to change it. And then there was members from every department, right, to include Kansas State University Extension Office that was there. But we found out real quick there that, that you see in there, Public Works had people out there on Anderson, all right, and then you had people here. So they were separated. So there was different things going on. So they brought that and added Craig Schwartz to the original committee. Okay. And also in there, that is not a misprint or typing or anything on there when it talks about information systems, because that's what that department was called back then. Planning, zoning, and development. Again, that's what that was called. This changes as we go, we evolve, and we hopefully we get better. All right. As you can see here, the original committee was charged with renaming the committee. The name became REACH Committee, which stands for Riley County Employee Activity and Communication Helmsman. Let me tell you, that was not easy to remember. All right. And then the original bylaws, of course, were approved by the Board of Commissioners on April 26th, 1990. So we're kind of moving a little fast there. I think we was doing meetings about every 2 weeks, okay, when this first started. Commissioners wanted to have it, all right? Then the mission of the REACH Committee is to enlighten the Board of County Commissioners on the employee perspective of county employment, promote better employee relations, and enhance communication between the various departments to provide the day-to-day operations of the Riley County government. Then to do this, certain things we needed to foster, all right? Better understanding, communication, and cooperation among employees involved in the public activities and the operation of Riley County government. To provide the Board of Riley County Commission with an informal employee perspective group that meets on an established basis. Then to provide planning and coordination for employee participation in community-related events. Something else on that, it's not on here. We were involved, Minnie was there, when it had the dress code. We had to get a dress code formalized, and they brought us in. And I think I was chair at that time, and the REACH Committee had a lot of good ideas, a lot of good stuff, so it was very involved in these type of things, and continue to do so. And again, the objectives of the REACH Committee are, as it says, to provide planning and coordination of Riley County employee and social activities, and to provide the Riley County employees with a monthly informational newsletter, which right now, Lori Hanson is our chair of that, and she has done such a great job with it. She is, very good job. As we talked about evolving, this thing started out with one page, and many others before her continues to evolve, continues to get better, and I thank you for that, every one of them. Okay, and doing that. Now, looking at all these different things we do up there, like I said, you look down at one of the key things, or some of the key things, Project Manhattan / Riley County. That is a fund drive we've done annually, basically to help. We found out what the communities need. We use it out there. Say Riley, the city of Riley has been a big hub. They've taken it, they have food pantries, we gather the food, take it to them. The Ogden community, the Manhattan. Now Manhattan's a little different because they have their own. So they can only go inside the city limits. They have their compliance. So we went out and we broadened that, and we go out to the smaller communities. Which again, Riley, city of Riley, Doris Fritz up there has been a big help in doing this. She's done that for us. And another thing, go on down the list, Giving Tree, mittens, gloves, hats, and more. That means we get a lot of stuff comes in, give it out to the kids, we talk to the schools, talk to the communities, even done big brothers and big sisters, if I remember correctly. We've given to them in the past. I mean, we go out, we find out who needs this stuff. Very active group, all right? And then the adoptive family. The adoptive family has been going on. And what's good about that is because Riley County, we found that we're such a large organization, we can actually, I think we've done up to 8 children in a family years back. Yeah, and a family of 8. And now we're doing, I mean, similar, smaller families, 3 of them, I believe, up to 3. They help there in the crisis center that need these things during Christmas. And they give us a list now, again, all evolving. They give us a list of what they need, okay? And
You can take down your mask if it helps you.
no, I need to keep this on. I appreciate it. You notice, I should have mentioned this earlier. I think you guys know by now, for medical conditions, I have to keep my eyes covered.
Yeah.
This is all not been a good day for me in that eye. So I'll tell you that now. So we're looking at these things, all right? And we've always made and met that challenge, okay? Done other things, okay, like sesquicentennial. That's not an easy word to say either. Okay? Go ahead and say it 6 or 8 times.
That's why he doesn't come around very often.
Now, what we did, many of us who was on the committee at the time, to be honest, Lori Muir here was on it with me. Had others that were out there in the appraiser office, different places. We volunteered nights, weekends, did this stuff, getting this stuff ready. Here's some former commissioners, former Riley County employees on this list. Okay. The photos, if you look at those photos, found all those and we put them up there, working with the museum, historical society. Got those out there. Again, the hat and mint tree. We've done that for years and years, and we'll continue to do that. Oh, look at that, isn't that pretty? This is what we used to have. Again, we were evolving. Training day. Once training day came up, they came and asked us to be involved and find out again what the employees would like to see. Things like this, been working great. Okay. Christmas parties. We also, not only do we work, we also have some fun time and again. Here's just a little bit of fun. It's been a while since we've had fun around the county, I guess. But there it is. There was Christmas party we had. And I'm not sure exactly. Yeah, you can see him a little better there. Like that. Okay. Back to that adopted family. Look at this. This was just one of the years. The group, not only did they evolve from moving into, we used to just get them, they just had to be, new. Now they got to wrapping. Group, Reach Committee got to wrapping these gifts and getting them out there to the crisis center. Okay, Employee of the Year. Uh-oh, what's that?
I don't know who that is.
Hey, this is good because this is a blood drive.
Okay.
All right, this is the project. Manhattan Riley County Blood Drive, right? You may recognize that guy.
I have no idea who that is. No idea.
Thank you very much.
Stick him a couple times.
Yeah.
Okay.
A loyal donor.
Must be recent. We've got masks on.
Again, Lori has been doing that, I think, from the very beginning. way back when this all
I
started.
think since 2003.
Long time.
It's been a long time. And appreciate that. Thank you. Okay. Get that. Now, back here, there's some food for you. If you can, I don't know if you can look into that and see that, but that's, I believe it's, Rich, how many pounds is that up there? We had a 500
845.
and we had a goal of 500. So we exceeded that goal.
That's pounds
Pounds of,
of food. It was cereal that year.
that's a lot of cereal.
That's 800. Yeah, that looks about right. Yeah.
My most favorite one was when we was collecting, you know, we went out to the communities and we asked them what they wanted. They wanted toilet paper and bar soap.
We couldn't find a picture of that.
But I had a great time.
Hopefully that wasn't
in the
last
store.
March. Okay.
Employee of the year, there we go. What we used to do, employee of the year, right? Of course, coming in here and there was Craig. Craig Schwartz, he got it, and look at me again. Yeah, that's really me there. I don't know if I did. Okay. And then also, employee of the month. We went down to the location, wherever they was at, wherever the department was. We just let them know and we'd surprise them. All right. They were, of course, here's Jerry. Yes.
Both those guys are much younger.
Yeah.
I'm not sure who those guys are. And, all right, since we're there with the employee of the month, I've got a form here that says, I nominate Lori Muir from the Riley County Clerk's Department to be considered for the Riley County Employee of the Month. Specifically, my reasons for nominating this person are, Lori does a significant amount for Riley County, not just in her department, but through the entire county. Since the beginning of COVID, Lori has volunteered much of her time to be part of operations. Very good. She has done everything from answering the COVID phone lines, answering the COVID emails, doing different tasks at the testing sites, working with the vaccine clinics. Woo! You don't work for the health department.
I've seen her there, so I can attest to that. Yes.
Yeah, gone around with nurses for the homebound patients. She has gone around to buildings outside her department to clean out the air purifiers. I've seen that.
That too.
She helps get valuable information to the public. She has spent so much time doing things outside her realm of responsibilities while still maintaining her everyday job duties. She does everything with a smile and a positive attitude. She's all about helping and caring, whether it's within her department or someone else's. She brings a friendly, professional attitude everywhere she goes. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks.
Very good.
And with that, we've got, I think a plaque and some movie tickets for you. And you can take a picture with us if you'd like as well, Lawrence. High five.
Oh my gosh, I'm surprised.
That was the point.
Yeah, right.
Everybody smile, not that you can tell.
The car got smiling.
Nice. On that way, there we go.
Okay.
Somebody got a picture of that.
Yeah, yes.
Again, any questions for Laura or I?
No, I'm actually glad you brought that up because, of course, I come in once a month or from time to time, and I have always kind of wondered about the history of when that started, and I didn't know that it went back that far and includes a lot of different people, obviously, through the years, and current people still. So I really appreciate that.
Currently, in doing this research, I know who the commissioners were. I remember who they were that organized that, who did that. The original list, on that list, if you look at it, there's only 4 of us that remain as Riley County employees. But very good group, I think. So maybe 5. I forgot Craig, excuse me, Mr. Employee of the Year. So anyway, yeah, it's been great. What an adventure. And like I said, I've done it many times, many years. Thanks.
Okay, thank you.
Is there anything you as commissioners would like to see the REACH committee doing? I mean, I'm not currently on it, but.
Are we doing anything with Kanza United Way?
Great question.
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
we are.
I have had a conversation with Tara and we had some initial thoughts and then we never got back with each other. So at some point in time, I guess I'll reach out and do that, but
Yeah,
that's
and they
something
had-
I'd
they
like
had
to see.
updated conversation.
We just went through HR.
Okay, good.
And one thing I wanted to mention, we'll be doing our fundraiser and you'll be seeing information on that in this upcoming newsletter. We do a plant flower fundraiser. And so anybody here at the county wants to order, then that helps support what we, do to help in the county throughout the year. So just thought I'd mention that.
Right, yes, exactly. Our fundraisers, with the flower fundraiser going on, thank you very much, Lori, is big. It's getting ready to come up. Okay, get ready to plant, have this thing ready to go before Mother's Day. So that'll be going out and, real soon. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, everyone. Congratulations, Lauren.
Thanks.
All right.
I wondered why so many people kept.
Yeah, they were hiding out there.
She wondered too.
It's kind of hard to surprise a person in the clerk's office when,
They all show up.
right, and when you're chairman of that particular organization or from the clerk's office, it does bring up questions. So. Okay, so I guess we got an executive session. I guess what I need to know first, Clancy, is how long?
20 minutes.
Okay. So approximately, okay. I had moved that the county commission, including Chairman Ford, Commissioner McKinley, and Commissioner Foki, recess into executive session on potential litigation for the purpose of consultation with Clancy Holman, Riley County Counselor, attorney for the commission, which would be deemed privileged in the attorney-client relationship, an exception to the Kansas Open Meetings Act, the open meeting to resume in the county commission chamber at 11:37 a.m. Elizabeth Ward, Human Resource Manager, Rich Fargo, Riley County Clerk, and Barry Wilkerson, Riley County Attorney, will be present during the portion of the executive session to provide factual information.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
15.
You're live.
Okay, and I move that the Board of County Commissioners come out of executive session.
A second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor?
All right.
We also moved that no consensus was reached in executive session. Or excuse me, I'm going to move that the record reflect no binding action was taken during executive session.
I'll second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor?
All right.
Okay, here we go. I'm gonna take a deep breath. I move the county commission, including Chairman Ford, Commissioner McKinley, and Commissioner Foki, recess into executive session on potential litigation for the purpose of consultation with Clancy Holman, Riley County Counselor, attorney for the commission, which should be deemed privileged in the attorney-client relationship and exception to the Kansas Open Meetings Act. The open meeting to resume in the county commission chamber at 11:53 a.m. Elizabeth Ward, Human Resources.
This is one that has me.
Yeah, it's just Clancy now. Clancy and Elizabeth, or not Elizabeth?
No.
Okay, just Clancy then. We can modify that.
Sure.
And you said 11:53?
Yeah,
Okay. I just wanted to be sure.
but I haven't actually finished the motion yet either, so we'll take Elizabeth Ward off of there and we'll just only add, Clancy. Okay, so that's the motion.
I'll second.
All right.
Whatever that was.
I don't know what it was either, so don't feel bad. So it's been moved and seconded on this odd executive session.
It's perfectly legitimate.
Odd motion, not the executive session. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Definitely want that clarified.
We are live.
Okay, thank you, Tyler. I'm gonna go ahead and move that the Board of County Commissioners come out of executive session.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. We'll go ahead and also move that the record reflect action shall be taken consistent with consensus reached in executive session.
Second.
Okay, been seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
Just so everybody knows, Rich and I get along fine.
We were out there in headlocks.
I didn't see any bruises when you came back in.
Clancy, will you check the camera just to make sure? I don't believe either one of them.
No, it's not easy. It's not easy.
No. No, it's not.
Sorry, I have a lot of motions to catch up on.
Okay, we good to go?
That happens when they're not already prearranged.
Yeah. And you have to go through them 3 times? Okay, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Um,
Trying to be sure I got everything right. Yeah. You're good.
Something popped up on my radar and probably yours. And you usually bring it up, Rich. I don't care if we do it this year or not, but the Walk Kansas.
Yeah, I have it here. So yeah, unfortunately, I kind of feel with you too. And that's bad because it's something that we always kind of did, but it was tradition prior to last year. We actually started it and then decided not to just because of the situation we're in with COVID. But traditionally, the commissioners, Clancy, Craig, and myself had a Walk to Kansas team to participate in that. It was always Holman that was the chair of that. So it's if you guys want to participate, we'll do it.
I don't care either way.
I'm not as.
I think it's $10 a person to enter. If you win, you get a T-shirt or something. It just promotes healthy lifestyle, which I guess I do. I think the rest of you do. Yeah. So I mean that's.
And just, the T-shirt's separate, it's an additional cost.
Oh, that's right, that's right.
Yeah, it is an additional cost. I hadn't even looked at the details.
It was 22 or $25, I think, if I remember right.
Was it?
Something like
Where
that.
was
Yeah.
that information?
Michelle sent it out on Tuesday.
Yeah, it went to everyone.
I remember seeing it, but I can't find it.
I'll be honest with you, I thought about it this year and I'm kind of staring maybe against because it's just one other thing I've got to try to keep track of and and try to work through to figure out where I'm at. I do everything that's on that list pretty extensively, so it would be easy, but I got to keep track of it. It's just going to be a mess for me. But if everybody else wants to, I'll chime in.
I'm not crazy about it.
Okay, so that takes care of that thing.
Okay, take care of that. Take care of that. Got lucky.
Done that
Clancy, you don't have to
before.
be the captain of Walk Kansas this year.
What's that, Captain?
No, I've done that before.
It's a good program, and for a group of people that wanted to, really challenge themselves or something over the course of however many weeks that is, it's a good thing. So,
But I do it daily, anyway. I was up at 5 this morning. That's what I do.
yeah, that's what I'll be doing here in an hour or so myself. I've had a lazy week, but it's been a long week.
You're gonna need it after this morning.
Well, not just this morning. I mean,
Stress relief.
yeah, just the whole week. It's been a doozy of a week. I'm going to Topeka on Saturday, so recharge. It'll be all right.
Don't blame you.
So other than that, I guess I don't really have anything. I do have this nice bag of goodies.
Oh, that's good.
Clancy, do you have anything for the board?
I'll just send it down there before I put my palm over all of it.
Okay.
Sure, no more long-winded executive sessions.
That wasn't necessarily his fault.
Notice I didn't even argue.
Try to help you out every once in a while.
Oh, that smells good.
Looks good, yeah.
There you go.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, so then we'll remember we have a 4:00. I don't know if anybody's in person or Zooming, but, or maybe not attending at all, but, City Hall, 4:00. Zoom, 4:00.
Yep.
Motion before or after that to adjourn,
Now.
because it's not here.
Yeah, after. Motion for
Unless
after.
anybody's got anything else, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Okay, that's after the city council.
No, if it's here, we have to do it after because it'll be on our live stream, but if it's there, it's separate.
Okay, so I moved to adjourn.
I would second that.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to adjourn the March 18th meeting of the Board of Commission. All those in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Everyone have a